Oh, shit.
I'll have to hand that here. I'll deal with that later.
Might as well stop and restart.
Nah, I could just edit it out. This is not mine.
Correct.
Hey, buddy, how's your day going?
I want to die. But other than that, it's pretty good.
Is it because you're allergic to Texas?
Yes. So, about that, also, welcome everyone again. Welcome to episode 2 of Lorecast Eternals. Caution advisory statement announcement. If I start spontaneously dying during the podcast, it's because I'm allergic to Texas, and that evil bitch is coming for me. So, yeah.
Also be aware that if you hear a lot of thumping, our upstairs neighbors, they like to practice MMA on a regular basis.
Or really aggressive sex.
Yeah.
Like hyper, like they're hate fucking.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's one way to look at it.
Like,
What one pump chumps that are up there?
nah, I'm talking like the dude just beat the chick's mom, and instead of like leaving him, she decides to fuck her emotions out. That's the noises we're hearing above us. It is very concerning.
Ugh.
All right.
Well,
So, hello everyone. Welcome back. Just to go ahead and reintroduce yourselves again, in case you didn't listen through episode 1. I am Philip.
I am Mitchell.
And I am the Jacob.
Hello, the Jacob.
Hello, I am the Jacob.
And this week's this bi-weekly episode.
It's semi-weekly. Isn't bi-weekly twice a week?
Bi-weekly is every other week.
If y'all are wondering, we are in fact all stupid, which is why these small conversations happen.
Yeah. This bi-weekly episode, we are covering the ages of Age of Sigmar.
Yes,
Because,
yes, you are correct.
Sigmar had to be really pompous and name the third one after himself, like he does everything. But
So many Sigmars.
But
so many.
let's cover what's going on. Jacob, you are going to be covering the Age of Myth.
Yes, I'm going to be covering the Age of Myth and the age before that, which is technically like the Ageless or like before Age period. It's very small, but it is technically separated from the Age of Myth, but that is what I'm going to be covering.
And is that having to do with any of the old world at all, or is that
Kind
going
of.
to be, or is it mostly just how the old world connects into the new world of the Age of Sigmar and the Mortal Realms?
So, kind of. So, the Age of Myth doesn't actually start until Sigmar starts traveling through the mortal realms, discovering things and waking up the other gods. So, the Ageless, the time before Ages is like Sigmar being found by Dracothion and like the mortal realms being made and yada yada, but we'll go over that in a second. But, but technically, it is before that happens.
Okay.
That's what the Ageless time is.
And I, Mitchell,
The man.
the man, the myth, the not-so-legend,
The Birdman himself.
the Birdman himself, yes.
I want to go back to that white cheddar comment from the last episode.
Now we're going to leave that one.
Oh, okay.
No, as it is. We'll be covering the Age of Chaos. And boy, was that a headache.
So y'all can't see him physically, but when he said the Age of Chaos, the light left his eyes, and I'm assuming the majority of his soul as well.
Yeah, those Chaos Gods really took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to go ahead and be covering the titular Age of Sigmar. Just so you're aware, this is, in order to make sure this isn't an 18-hour podcast, we're going to be covering the ages themselves in more of an overarching sense. We're not going to be dealing and delving so much into the little nitty-gritties of it. So you might hear myself or Mitchell or Jacob mentioning an event and kind of just going, yeah, this is a thing that happened and it was important, and then moving on. Because, again, like I said, if we really got into the nitty-gritty of it, we'd be here for the next probably
3.5 fortnights.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
really.
we will be going back over these ages at a later date, going much more in depth, talking about the battles that happen and things like that in much more explicit detail later.
And
This is a very long spiel.
it is, but
It is.
realistically, I feel like it's important to get people to understand like how this is going to be. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and last but
Fuck
not
you
least,
guys too.
last but not least, last episode we said that we would be dropping our official email address in case anyone who watches the podcast wants to drop in suggestions later on. And we didn't do that because we're stupid. We will be doing that this episode.
Yes, so you can reach us at lorecasteternails@gmail.com.
And how is that spelt?
Please don't ask me.
So, Lorecast Eternals.
There's a Q in there somewhere.
No, there's. Shut up. Lorecast Eternals, it's literally just the word lore, the word cast, and then the word Eternals. No spaces, no capitalizations, no numbers, no funny business. Just Lorecast Eternals at gmail.com. If you want to go ahead and send us your love letters or hate mail, or
if you want to send addresses, I can send addresses.
Actually, please send me
don't.
hate mail.
Yes.
I'm a sadist.
I believe that's masochist, Mitchell.
I'm stupid.
This is known.
All right, so it's been 6 minutes. Without further ado.
Whoa, we still have a Facebook page.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, we do.
We created that 15 minutes ago.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Hey.
Also, there is a Twitter.
Yeah, I was supposed to create the Facebook page and I forgot about that. But no, I did create a Twitter though, so hey.
Yeah, that's It's L Eternals, but not like EL Eternals, like the Spanish.
It's just the letter L.
Just the letter L.
L Eternals.
Eternals. Yeah.
Keeping it simple.
Yes. L Eternals is going to be our Twitter handle. Lorecast Eternals. Trust me, if you get there, you'll know it's us. It's
all the same.
There's nothing there. And then our Facebook page.
It's just Lorecast Eternals.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
Just want to make sure everybody can find it easily.
Yeah, somehow nobody ever thought about this name.
I know, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
so obvious too.
You look us up on Google, we're the first one. I felt accomplished from that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I did. Alrighty.
Success is this what Elon Musk feels like?
Pinky up.
Pinky out.
Fancy.
So,
Heyo.
I believe that are all the announcements we have to get out of the way, and I think we can dive right into the meat and potatoes of the episode. Yeah?
Taters.
Alrighty, then I guess I'm up first. So, like I said, I'm going to be going over the first age, the Age of Myth, and the mini age right before, which is the age of the time before ages. So, to talk about this properly, I'm going to have to talk about the world that was and the end times a little bit, because the destruction of the old fantasy world ties in directly into the creation of the mortal realms. So, as most of you know, there was Warhammer Fantasy, which was what the game was before Age of Sigmar. And Chaos blew that shit up, because that's what Chaos does.
Dun, da, 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 and the Skaven fucked everything, as Skaven like to do.
And when the world that was exploded, I'm going to say exploded,
Zapped.
the magics that were used to create and destroy that world, and like space dust and other things, after a time kind of condensed down and formed basically crystallized realities, which is the mortal realms. That is basically what compromises the entirety of the Age of Sigmar world.
I have a quick comment about this. Apparently, actually, these 8 mortal realms, when I was reading through all the wiki and stuff, they're actually like planets. So
Yes, to a certain degree, yeah.
yeah, because there was a case where when one certain realm was being attacked by Khorne, you can look from a different realm and you can look in the sky, the night sky, and it was just a gigantic flaming head in the night sky, and you're like,
That sounds lovely.
damn, I'm sure happy I'm not there.
Man, those guys are fucked. Yeah, so that's pretty accurate. They're described as crystallized realities, but yes, they are basically planets that are all connected via the realm gates and all that shenanigans, which we'll get into shortly. But these lands were literally created from the magics and whatnot of the old world. So, to a certain extent, you can almost say the Mortal Realms is like a reincarnation of the old world. It's yes, all the lands are new, but it's the same stuff from the old world that made the new world. So, that is important because that is basically like the ground level of what Age of Sigmar is based off of. So, during the time before Ages, all of the dust and stuff was condensing, and the mortal realms were made, and the god beasts were formed, and these are basically just horrifically powerful elemental semi-deities that just kind of cropped up when the mortal realms were created from the magics and whatnot, like Dracothion and all the other big ones and whatnot. Those are all called god beasts or zodiacal beasts.
Question with the god beasts. Were they just the top of the line for the certain races, or were they like actually just born gods? Because I know a little bit of Kragnos lore where he was not a god, but now he's considered like a god.
So, kind of yes, kind of no. So, like Dracothion, for instance, that's like one of the biggest god beasts. They're the most known. He's the father of the Draconiths, I believe they're called, which those are the sentient dragon species. God, what's his name? Yagmug or something like that. Yagmug, I think is how you pronounce it.
As long as you have a stroke while saying it, you know
100%. I can't see it on my left eye. He is the.
Do you smell toast?
He is the grandfather of all Gargants. He is the father of Behmat, whatever. And Behmat is what made the Gargants. And it is actually said that he actually created the land, the sky, and the ocean by hitting reality with his club, I think.
Sounds
Something.
like
And he like drank half of the first ocean, all kinds of crazy shit. But all of the god beasts, a lot of them are progenitors of species that you see in the lore and on tabletop, but not all of them. Like the god beast that trapped Gorka Morka in the Age of Myth, which something I'll cover shortly, was called, I forget the name, but it was literally a living avalanche. I think it was technically made of like amber, but it was called a living avalanche. So like obviously I don't think Age of Sigmar has a bunch of mini avalanches that are sentient running around, but that's what it was. So and like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of research on this particular topic yet, but I will later. But as far as I'm aware, some of them are progenitors, yes, and some of them aren't. So I think to a certain extent, all of the god beasts they kind of formed as like semi-deific beings, and some of them had kids, and some of them didn't or couldn't. Is my understanding. Once again, I might be incorrect. This will be a topic that we will be going over later, but that is how I understand it right now. Anywho, so these beasts are roaming around and whatnot, and one day, Dracothion, which is the great dragon, sees this gigantic flaming ball of stuff in the sky, and what that was, I believe, it was called Malice. I think Malus, and it was literally the core of the world that was. I believe it was made out of Sigmarite, I think. I forget what it was called then, but Sigmar woke up and be like, this is Sigmarite, that's what Sigmar does. But besides the point, he saw that and he was like, man, I'm going to take that because I think that's cool as shit. I'm going to take that and bring it here on the planet so I can like observe its beauty.
Can we please explain the headcanon of Nakai?
No, but I'll get there. I'm too emotionally attached to him.
I'm doing this because in the end times, they never actually wrote the death of Nakai. So when the world exploded, in my headcanon, Nakai is just circling Sigmar on the core.
He's just in space, eternally wandering. Sorry, besides the point. Inside joke. Our bad. But anyway, so Dracothion flies up to this gigantic flying ball of stuff, which once again was the core of the world that was. And as he gets close to it, he sees there's a whole ass dude on that planet. And that whole ass dude happened to be Sigmar. And so Dracothion sees him, he's like, who's this guy? And he kind of gets close to him, and he kind of senses like a kindred spirit almost within him, and like breathes on him and like brings him back to life. And that is how Sigmar basically arrived on the mortal realms. Dracothion revived him, and Sigmar was like, thanks bro, you're pretty cool. Here's this necklace. And he gave him, I think it's like some sort of like necklace or something made of Sigmarite that he like gifted to Dracothion. And so Dracothion.
Good question.
I don't know.
How did he have a necklace of Sigmarite?
That's a good fucking question.
That's an excellent question, Mitchell. We will come back to that.
Was the core of the planet made of Sigmarite?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Okay, but there wasn't any other realms, and how? Like, if it's a
Mitchell.
Stop. I'm not understanding.
Stop.
We'll get there.
I'm just not understanding.
We'll get there. I promise. So, Dracothion drags once again the core is called Malice. Into Azir, the realm of heaven, and he drags the core and Sigmar himself to Azir, and kind of plops Sigmar down, and
I thought the old world became the new realms, such as like it was like stardust combined into like actual planets, and those planets are the realms. How can one like drag a core to a new realm unless they just have a gigantic floating thing of Sigmarite, which all Stormcast Eternals armors come from?
So they don't explain it super well, but I'm assuming like the planet exploded, but the core, like the metallic core of the world didn't, and like the shit that did blow the fuck up was used to make the world around, and then like the core was just kind of there, and Sigmar was just kind of stranded on it, taking the dopest snap ever.
Oh, nice.
At least to my understanding.
The way I think of it is basically the Dracotheon dragged the core of the planet. Since we've already established that the mortal realms are realistically just planets, the way I see it is more than likely Dracotheon dragged the core into orbit around Azir, and Azir just has a new moon now.
Huh?
That's the way I see it.
It kind of has two, because Morceleb's still a thing. The bad moon is still a thing. I think like the bad moon.
That ain't a moon.
So like
That's no moon.
like Morceleb like orbits Malice, and then Malice orbits Azir. Basically.
So Morceless is the bad moon?
Maybe it's the twin-tailed comet. One of those two.
Okay, because then the bad moon actually travels from realm to realm.
I'm not super up to date on my fantasy lore at the moment, but I know it's Morceleb. I forget if that's the moon or the twin-tailed comet. I think it might be the comet, actually. But besides the point, when Sigmar gets pulled to Azir by Dracotheon, and he kind of gets sat down, he's like, wow, what the fuck is this? And he, decides to just travel and discover where he's at, what this new land is. As far as he is aware, like he's the only survivor from the world that was, except Archeon, the dick. And so he
yeeted himself into the realm of chaos.
He literally just starts exploring the mortal realms, and that is the start of the Age of Myth. That is how it begins. It is Sigmar's travels. I have to drink some water.
Sorry, no, we just had to pause, and I just had a quick conversation, and I'm just internally screaming.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. So, as I was saying, Sigmar starts traveling, and he does a whole lot of shit while he's traveling, and he meets the humans that are there and all kinds of other tribes and whatnot that are just living on the mortal realms at the time, and he defeats, he fights god beasts and does all kinds of crazy shit, and basically starts getting worshipped as a god again.
God Worship 2.0.
Continue, tell me the details of Sigmar's adventures.
Hey, that should be a book series. The Adventures of Sigmar.
So he goes from realm to realm, goes through all 8 of them. And like I said, he just does a bunch of really random shit while exploring. He gets worshipped as a god again. Whenever he meets, any of the humans that are around or something like that, he kind of, teaches them and tries to uplift them, because, once again, Sigmar is the god of civilization. And he uplifts anyone that he sees and does all kinds of stuff. Like, in Akshi, he fights, the god or the zodiacal beast of I think it's the fire ogre or something like that, and cast them out of Akshi, which is the land of fire the dwarves eventually get to, and all kinds of shit of that nature. And the big important part of this is that what he does while he's exploring is he finds the other gods of the Order of Destruction, Death, and Order, and all that stuff. He finds Alariel, Nagash, Tyrion, all that stuff, and a lot of them, when he finds them, he brings new life into them, which is very important, because that's how the Pantheon of Order first got established in the very beginning.
Okay, every single time we say Alariel, I just can't get her picture of her thigh out of my mind.
Oh god. God, it's so thick.
That girl thick.
Her model is...
Side note, if you look at Alariel's model in Sigmar, that woman can crush cinder blocks with her thighs.
Oh my god.
You've seen the videos of the women who are just crushing watermelons between their thighs. I get watermelon crushing vibes. No,
she's
an model.
She's an absolutely scary character, because her eyes are just white, and she's like, I got power within me. But though, that one thigh that's showing, I'm just like, damn, she has the bicycle everywhere.
All I'm saying is when I look at that plastic model, I don't know if I should be aroused or terrified.
Oh.
Oh
God.
my god. Look, guys. All I'm saying is I'm a member of the religion of the Holy Bible.
Anywho. Fucking god damn it. You threw off my groove.
Oh no, I threw off the Emperor's groove.
So anyway. Fuck, Jesus Christ.
You're clearly not pulling the right lever.
Sigmar, during his travels, finds and awakens the gods. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. I think my favorite one, for starters, is when he finds fucking Gorkamorka. So, basically, Gorkamorka arrives on the Immortal Realms, and I think he arrives in Gru, the Realm of Beasts, and he touches down, he's like, yep, time to crump shit, and that's basically exactly what he does. And then he gets into a fight with, the Living Avalanche, yes. The god, I forget like the name of it. It's the god beast that's called the living avalanche, and it just kind of swallows him, and he's kind of stuck.
I just imagine him as a slime, like.
It's kind of how I see it too, and I don't know how I should feel about that.
Yeah, I'm just imagining the anime, the time I got turned into a slime.
You mean the time I got reincarnated?
Yeah,
as a slime? Yeah.
Drakatoa, that's its name. I think that's how you pronounce it. Drakatoa, the Living Avalanche. That's what it is. So, he gets eaten by the Living Avalanche, and that's kind of where he is. So, when Sigmar comes along, and he's like in the Realm of Beasts, just kind of doing his thing, he sees Gorkamorka stuck in amber. And he remembers, he knows who this is. This is a powerful being from the world that was. So Sigmar's like, I'm gonna free him. Like, fuck it. It's someone who's from my past, who knows what can happen. And at the time of his travels, he is traveling with Dracotheon. So he gets Gorkamorka out of the Living Avalanche, out of the Amber. And Gorkamorka's like, man, you my homie. Thanks for freeing me. I'm gonna bitch slap your dragon now. And that's exactly what he does. He just bonks Dracotheon in one tap. So he doesn't die, but he gets put into the fucking dopest nap ever. Like, it's
Doper than Sigmar's nap?
I think it was. He just fucking bonk and just, that fucking dragon was out. And Sigmar took exception to this. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna punch you in the schnoz. And so fucking Sigmar and Gorkamorka just get into this 12-day fight. This all-out fucking brawl. Like, they create like a whole new mountain range, which is called the Miraz Mountain Range. Get it?
Yes.
I want to die.
That's such a terrible
Wait. I don't get it. Please explain.
His hammer's called Miraz, so when he made the mountains, they're called the Miraz.
Not did he name him after himself, but he named it after his hammer. This guy is so pompous.
And then, like,
I love it.
They make a canyon. Anyway, I want to die. Anywho, they get into this 12-day fight. They're making mountain ranges, and they're making new canyons and shit. Just this haul-out brawl. There's, like, other beasts in Gru that are just watching this, like, what the fuck is this? They're just chilling there watching this, like, the most dramatic MMA fight to ever exist for 12 straight fucking days. And after 12 days, they kind of stop because they're tuckered out. And Gorkamorka's like, man, I couldn't absolutely wreck your shit. You're my friend now. And Sigmar's like, cool. And that's literally it. That's like how Gorkamorka and Sigmar become friends.
I got a quick question for you. The fact that Sigmar and Gorkamorka could sit there and create mountains during a fight just by pure strength and no psychic power, who do you think is physically stronger? Because we know a lot more about 40k lore. Who's physically stronger? The Emperor or Sigmar?
I'm assuming you're referring to the Emperor of Mankind.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm not talking about, like...
Karl Franz.
Yeah.
Why you gotta do this to me? Because I simp for the Emperor.
Should we start calling you Constantine Valdor?
A little bit.
No, better yet, I'll call
I'm
you
gonna
Horus.
go with they're at the same tier, and this is why. Sigmar is actually a god. The Emperor technically is not, but the Emperor...
Wow, that's some serious heresy you're spouting over there.
Fuck you. The Emperor was made under really retarded circumstances, and he is just so astronomically powerful just naturally. I think I'm going to say that when it comes to, like, just strength, I'm going to say even. It's probably not true, but I don't want to have that, like, in-depth math equation going on in my brain right now, or I'm just not going to get through this podcast.
Okay. I will make an argument that Sigmar is stronger physically than the Emperor. Emperor is by far a lot stronger psychically.
Yeah, I could see that.
But
Mostly because whenever Sigmar
I could see that.
Sigmar fights Archeon, and he actually like has to fight him physically with Archeon, and Archeon kind of sort of wins from what you've explained to me, Mitchell.
we will get into
we'll get to that.
He
We'll get
wins,
to that.
but not because he beat Sigmar's ass.
My explanation is that Sigmar can use a hammer and destroy a mountain.
Yeah, no, definitely. But, like, see, the big difference is that Sigmar can eat a hammer and destroy a mountain, whereas the Emperor is like, hey, you see that planet anymore? Yeah, that planet's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And purely just through strength of his mind alone, and that's fucking terrifying.
Nuts. But continue.
So, before I continue on with the rest of Sigmar's shenanigans, I'm going to give y'all a little brief explanation of, like, the other gods and kind of, like, what happened with them. Marathi, titties out snake lady. When she was, like, reincarnated onto the mortal planes, she basically crash landed into Olgu. Fuck, that one. Realm of Shadows.
Yes. Didn't she actually get thrown up by
Slaanesh, yes.
Slaanesh
Slaanesh regurgitated her, and
because I don't think she was there for the Battle of Burning Skies, which we'll get to later. But
yeah, but so what happened with her was that so she was around during the Age of Myth, and she was basically like she was reincarnated in Olgu. Like she awoke like flying through the sky of Olgu, and she crash landed, and she was also a snake lady now because she had been transformed, and her mind was shattered by like what had happened, and so like during the Age of Myth, she kind of like just pieces her shit back together. Malarion, who is the other dark elven god, #Malekith, when he awoke in Olgu as well, just as like the god of shadow, and he was just incorporeal. He was just shadows. He had no control over his power yet, and basically through the pure edgelord power of rage, because he couldn't do things because he ain't got no hands or nothing, put himself together. That's kind of what they were doing.
I imagine him as Edward Scissorhands.
What?
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not talking to you right now. Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
Oh man, I can see it in my brain now. God damn it. I can just see literally Johnny Depp, but it's just Malarion's face trimming hedges. Fuck. Inner peace. Inner peace. Anywho, so that's what they're doing. Grimnir and Grungy get trapped on a mountain. There was some betrayal thing, and they got chained to a mountain in Akshi. For reasons. You good there, bud?
I'm putting my glass down.
So the Dwarven gods are incapacitated. Tyrion and Teclis are in the Hish, and they get like resurrected by Sigmar. And Nagash ends up in Shyish, and I forget if he's like dead or if he's incorporeal or something like that. But so basically, for more for less, all of the gods are incapacitated when they except Gorka Morka, but he becomes incapacitated. But they are all basically incapacitated, and so as Sigmar travels, he finds them and either helps them like with their issue or like, basically breathes new life into them. And through each god he does this for, he basically creates the first incarnation of the Pantheon of Order. And for every god he saves, they give him like a gift of gratitude for like basically helping them out with their shit. And that is literally how the first Pantheon of Order is formed, is because Sigmar literally traveled around and woke the gods up, or kind of helped them like become physical entities on in the mortal realms.
Do we know how long the Age of Myth was for, like, this period of time? Like, them finding these things?
It was a while. It was definitely a while, because, like, Sigmar first traveling and setting up, like, the gods was just the first part. I think Age of Myth lasted, I want to say, like, upwards of 1,000 years, maybe a little less, but something around. It was a while. Yeah. Because so Sigmar awakens all the gods, right?
Yeah.
And all the gods go about their realms. So Marathi, Malarion are in Olgu, the realm of shadows. Nagash is in Shaish doing his realm of death shenanigans. Grungy and Grimnir, or not Grimnir, I'll get to that in a second. They're in Akshi, the realm of fire. Gorkamorka's murdering things in Gru.
Gorkamorka's doing
Gorkamorka things.
Yeah.
He is being both brutal and cunning and brutal. So they're all setting up, and Tyrion and Teclis are in Hish. I think that's how I pronounce it. They're doing all that shit. So they're setting up their civilization, and they do get set up. It's not like, oh yeah, they're in huts and what, like, big cities are built and trade flourishes. Like, it's a true realm of advancement and peace and understanding. It's paradise to a certain extent.
If you can call a flaming realm paradise, sure.
It's not like, oh look, people are on fire, but it's just the AC's broke. Sigmar hasn't fixed the AC yet with Sigmarite.
The South in summer.
That one, what we're currently going through.
Canada 3 weeks ago.
Anywhere on the equator.
Yeah, basically. The realm lasts a while because like whole ass civilizations crop up. And that's basically what happens. And I'm going to go over a couple more topics that are of import during the realm of myth. Mm-hmm. So another important one is the lizard men. So in end times, the lizard men got in their spaceships and fucked off. And no, I'm not talking about that because it made me fucking sad because the GW did the lizard men dirty in end times, and we're not talking about it.
That guy's not dead.
Fuck you. I'm not talking about it. Anywho, so they got in their Temple City spaceships and fucking yoked. Dracothion found them too. Before, I think a little before.
How is a dragon in space?
No, so like they were drawn to the mortal realms after a time, and Dracothion found them and like took pity on their plight and took them to Azir as well, Realm of Heaven, where Sigmar cities are, and they got set up in like the upper vaults of it, and they just kind of sat there and like drank celestial energy juice and became the Starborn.
Ooh.
And that's kind of what they did. Yeah. The elves fucked Slaanesh in the Age of Myth as well. You know, Slaanesh being all like tied up, BDSM-like. Yeah,
that happens. She would enjoy it, or he.
Oh, she doesn't. He doesn't. It doesn't.
And
they don't.
In the core rulebook, it states that Slaanesh is a he. But in my mind,
we all know that Slaanesh is a they.
We all know that while Slaanesh might be rocking the triple E cups, she's also rocking that 13-inch peen.
100%.
13-inch
dong. We've had this conversation. But yeah, that.
The real bad thing here is that we've had this conversation before, and two of us are actually drinking at the moment,
which means we're not going to be having
penises
get brought up every fucking time.
Yeah, you talk about Slaanesh, like I don't know what to tell you, bud.
So, the imprisonment of Slaanesh is another important thing that happens during the Age of Myth, and that's basically the four elven gods, Tyrion, Teclis, Marathi, Malarion, are like, yeah, fuck this bitch, and that's kind of what they do. So during the end times, Slaanesh just kind of like pinky up drank so many elf souls, because they were elf at the time, not elves.
Elves.
Bullshit. Basically nommed on so many pointy ear souls that they kind of just couldn't move or do anything. And it's kind of like, man, this would be a really inconvenient time if four really angry elven deities rolled up on me, and that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, you would make the argument, it's like, wow, she's... They is a chaos god. Slaanesh is them they. They is a chaos god. Chaos god.
I believe in you.
English.
English.
So powerful. How can they lose? Well, if I ate a 13-pound brisket, I'm not gonna move.
Yeah, like that's basically Slanesh went to McDiddy's and was like, I want 57 Big Macs, but make them Big Macs triple max. 47 orders of fries, a number 9 large. And that is exactly what happened. So the 4 elven gods roll up on her, or they, them, it, whatever, and they did not have a good time. Basically, they bound Slanesh with chains of like darkness. I think it was called like the chain of like eternal pain or something like that. And insert edgelord name here.
There's a pretty cool picture of it on online. I will post it on the Facebook page.
So do that.
Yeah, I will try my best.
Also, that Gashman was nice too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no. So Tyrion and Teclis yeet this bitch into like a pocket dimension, and Marathi and Malerion chain her up, and there she sits until now, still currently doing it. So
she's enjoying it.
The initial imprisonment of Slanesh happens Age of Myth, and then Slanesh just proceeds to not have a good time.
I think
forever.
I think she or them they enjoys it because BDSM.
Probably. Not that it matters much.
Just saying, if I was a masochist, I would like to be chained up.
Yeah, not like it matters much in the Age of Chaos.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, it matters just a tad bit.
So that is a very important and prevalent part of the lore. Grimnir dies.
Oh boy.
In Age of Myth. So when Sigmar goes to Akshi,
dies. Quote.
So like it's pretty certain he's dead, but he's still listed as a god. So like I don't know. I'm just gonna go with he's indisposed. But so when Sigmar rolled in Akshi and found Grungy and Grimnar like stuck on top of this mountain, chained up, and he was like, "Get these motherfucking chains off," and yoked them off. Grungy was like, "You my homie, thank you a lot. I'm gonna help you do things." And Grimnir was like, "I hate humans. Let me pay off this debt right now, right now, right now." And he was like, "Tell me a foe you want me to slay, so I won't be in your debt." And Sigmar was like, okay. And told Grimnir to go kill Volcatrix, which was the mother of salamanders. And of course, in this, the salamanders are the fire-breathing monstrosities, just like they are in 40k, except, she's a lot bigger. Mm. So Grimnir rolls up on this thing's cave, and Volcatrix is just fucking massive. And they fight...
Is Volcatrix a god beast?
Yes, Volcatrix is a god beast, and a very powerful one at that. So Grimnir and Volcatrix fight for a long time, and they give Akshi the Sigmar Gorka Morka treatment. They make plains and valleys, all kinds of crazy shit while they're fighting, and they kill each other. When their battle ends, their body basically rains down on Akshi like as meteors. Like that's how cataclysmic their battle was. However, and this is important, Grimnir's death, and I forget if it's like Grimnir's like essence when he died mixed with Volcatrix's, or if it's just Grimnir's body mixed with like the essence of Akshi, or something like that. But Grimnir dying, his body turned into Urgold, which is what I believe the Fire Slayers simp for aggressively.
Can you imagine going into battle wearing your god?
Okay, I know this isn't appropriate, but I have to say, like, imagine, like, finding some Urgold and being like, I wonder if this was Grimnir's penis.
Inappropriate. I was talking about being chained up 5 minutes ago.
Grimnir's left nut.
Guys, I found the peen!
God,
back and edit it and like look at all that.
Could you imagine making an Urgold necklace and it's just this was part of Grimnir's dong?
13-inch dong.
Sorry, that's so off topic. Anywho. Oh, stop. God. Oh, fuck. Okay, no, I'm
Would
fine.
you like some penis to cover your penis? Oh my god, okay, we just
Inner peace. Anywho. So that's... Shut the fuck up, Philip. So that's what happened in Akshi, and that's important because Grimnir died, and it made our gold, and that's a very important thing in the lore because that's what the Fire Slayers, they make their home in Akshi to mine that shit. So yeah, lots of important shit happened in the Age of Myth. Lots of stuff. Tyrion gets resurrected by Sigmar as well, and Hish, and he's walking around. He's like, man, there's no elves here. Where are my friends? Slaanesh ate them. And so Tyrion kind of like travels a little bit when he wakes up, and there's like no one there, and he is depresso. So I think eventually Sigmar like either finds Teclis as well and resurrects Teclis, and Tyrion's not alone anymore. This obviously happens before Slaanesh gets, bonked. But so that's more or less what happens with Tyrion, I believe. And then Sigmar is in Shyish and frees Nagash.
Best friends forever,
for
right?
some fucking reason.
Best friends forever.
Oh yeah, because Nagash totally isn't known for stabbing his friends in the back.
Best friends forever, right?
Alright, shut up, Bone Daddy.
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. Oh, God.
F is for friends who kill each other.
And so...
U is for the undead.
That happens, and there are some other things that the deities do after they're resurrected that I'm not going to go over now because we're just doing a brief description, and we'll go into much greater detail later for that. But that's really the meat and bones of what happened in the Age of Myth. Is basically Sigmar, Mortal Realms, finds gods, shenanigans happen, and basically we just have like it's kind of like what is it? The Victorian era. It was called like the Golden Era or something like that for England.
Oh yeah, the Victorian era. Yeah, it was kind of a new age renaissance almost for England.
Basically what happens in the Mortal Realm. It is this golden era, or like the golden centuries of just peace and happiness and civilization and trade.
And not chaos.
And then chaos notices it and they're like,
I
think I'm gonna fuck that up, and that's basically how the Age of Myth ends.
Should I explain how that's actually the Gilded Age?
That, exactly.
Oh, yeah, look at that transition right there. Well, the Age of Chaos, there are two different start points, guys. You get a soft start, and then you got a hard point. Now, they don't specifically, sit there and explain... The Age of Chaos is 500 years, but they don't explain... what part is the start of that 500 years? Is it the invasion, the first demonic invasion with Archaon? Archaon. Archaon is Bone Daddy's lesser.
Nubal slave boy. Archaon is Nagash's Nubal slave boy, and no one can tell me different.
Yes. So the first bit is... Oh, I did so much research and I'm just so blanked out at the moment. Ah, yes. The soft beginning is when the Chaos Gods realize that there are, actual other realms other than the Chaos realm.
I'm gonna keep it buck. When the Chaos Gods saw Mortal Realms, I feel like they were just like, round 2. And that was exactly what went through their mind.
It was straight time to go until, guess what? It's time to have fun with playing the great game once again. Let's destroy this time and become bored.
Tzeentch sitting in the Chaos realm going, yes, my erection, if I had one, possibly, maybe, kind of, sort of, is very much potentially hard.
Yeah. But so, the soft start officially started when Archaon was pretty much just invading some random...
Archaon or Archaon?
Archaon?
Archaon.
Archaon. Arc.
E.
Archon.
Archon. Archon.
No, this is just what I imagine chaos upon discovering the Mortal Realms. Archaon.
So weird boy. It's the little hand.
Yeah, this one right here.
Archaon. Archaon. Go fetch. Archaon. Yeah.
Do it. But I'm not gonna go way into depth of all the events that led up to the hard start called the Battle of the Burning Skies. I'm just gonna go over why the gods left the Pantheon of Order because
And if I have this correct, that's basically what let the Age of Chaos become a thing, right? It was because the gods got all backstabby.
Backstabby could be a word for it, or desperate.
But my point being is that is like literally like the gods they kind of stopped working together, and that's what let the chaos do their shit.
Chaos happened.
That's fair. That is very fair.
The first one.
Chaos happens in the Age of Chaos. Who would have thought?
So the first god I feel so bad for, I will start with Alariel.
Ooh, rip.
Oh yeah, her realm. Girin is how you pronounce that. Am I saying that with a stroke properly?
I believe so. Okay. I believe so.
That beautiful realm of hers caught the eyes of Nurgle.
And that is the realm of life.
Yes.
Cool. Girin equals realm of life.
The very prosperous, full of elves.
Did you say Nurgle?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah, it's that bad. Yeah, by the way, this lead up to the Age of like the hard start, it's dedicated as decades to centuries. So we don't know how long this event was, but
Nurgle's all up in that shit.
Oh yeah.
Nurgle saw that realm. The realm of life is like, damn, that would make a nice garden.
That would make a lovely summer palace for me.
Why do I feel like when you say garden and I just shit myself a little bit?
Probably.
That's probably just the tuberculosis. Don't worry about it.
It's.
Are you sure it's tuberculosis?
Man, sure is bubonic up in here.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Truly a wonderful day for some diarrhea.
So for the longest period of time, Alariel was just fighting a losing battle. She absolutely hated herself because what she did. She hated herself and Sigmar because Sigmar sent her off to different realms to populate and create life. And
oh yeah, because she made the Sylvaneth, right? Or like the tree people.
Yes. But no, it wasn't that. But also everywhere she walked, their life followed her. Okay.
That's the angry sex I was talking about.
Like life followed. Like imagine a god just walking and then flowers.
Just life blooming on her footsteps.
Everywhere.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
That's some anime weeb shit right there.
Oh yeah, it really is.
I feel like that's more like some Studio Ghibli shit.
But it was Sigmar that tasked her with this, and so she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna do that." And then she came back to her realm and saw Nurgle's rod everywhere, and she was like, "What?"
Pourquoi?
So when you said that Nurgle went into like the realm of life, one thing popped into my head, and it's a scene from Kung Fu Panda when Poe is washing his pits in the pool of sacred tears, and Master's like, "We do not wash our pits in the pool of sacred tears." All I can see is that's Alaria, and there's a fucking Greta just like rubbing, like all grody shit. He's just like scooping the water. That is exactly what popped into my head. Funny you said Nurgle went to the realm of life.
The funny thing is that there is like a sacred stream in the realm of life that is like straight up like the river of like cleansing tears or something like that.
That is so horrible, and it makes me so happy.
Oh
yeah. So she fought that for a long period of time, and it was such a losing battle at the very end of it. She just sat there, like, magic time. I'm gonna hide myself from the remaining people that I have.
Oh, she just leaves.
Yes, but also,
she just goes.
During this period of time, also all of the elves left, and all the Sylvaneth hate the elves now because they're like, you were supposed to help us, and you went to Azir because it was safer.
So I actually have a question. Jacob, you said earlier that the elves didn't really exist, and then all of a sudden now the elves do exist. Do we know when these got like reincarnated or recreated or repopulated?
That is entirely my fault, and I apologize. During the Age of Myth, basically after the 4 elven gods trap Slaanesh, they basically form a process to extract the souls from Slaanesh, cleanse them of chaos taint, and like realive them and return them to mortal form. I think, and that's like how the Edeneth or Indeneth Deepkin got made. I just forget if that's during the Age of Myth or not.
Were they the first iteration, and that's the reason why they become the Jukari of the Sea?
I don't know if they were the first, but I know that they were the first to cause issues because the Deepkin still had like that taint. Actually, I think you're right. I think they were the first because I believe the Deepkin still had like the slight taint of Slaanesh in their soul. So
which is why they hunger for souls.
I think it was Tyrion who was like, I'm gonna fucking kill these things because they're still tainted. And Teclis were like, these are my boys that I made. You can't kill my boys. And
my children.
And Teclis helped them escape. And then they kind of just like yoked into the sea. And I think, and I'm a little fuzzy on this. Once again, we'll be going back over this later episodes more in depth. So this is real brief, so I don't have all of my shit straight. But I think Teclis had like a lantern or some sort of like magical lantern artifact or something like that he helped like guide the souls from Slaanesh to like back into reality. And basically, once Tyrion tried to unalive them, Teclis helped them escape, and they grabbed the lantern and they just fucking yoked into the sea.
Yeah.
Once again, I don't. You know what? I think that is in the Age of Myth, and that is 100% my bad. And I'm gonna shut.
A lot of this stuff is happening in the Age of Myth, so don't feel bad.
I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. You continue.
Because there is a really good transition period that is the soft start.
Yeah, lots of shit happens.
Yeah. And she used a whole lot of magic, and that's the reason why the Sylvaneth actually are still alive, and it's because they could not find the last pocket.
So she was like, "This is a losing battle. I'm a yeet," and she just took the remaining people with her, and they just get herself away.
That really took her out of the Pantheon of Order.
Yeah, and she literally did just basically form a smaller enclosed realm inside of her own realm. The reason I know this because in the Age of Sigmar, Chaos comes back and they're like, "We're coming for your booty."
So it's fair to say that she didn't like break off from the Pantheon of Order. She just hid herself to keep her and her people alive.
Yeah, and she wasn't
there.
No, the next person I'm talking about, he literally did just kind of break off.
Is it Nagash?
No, that's Gorka Morka.
Yeah,
Gorka Morka does Gorka Morka things.
Yeah, as I wrote down, he just really got tired of all the politics and debates of the council, and he really did not care what was happening. All he wanted to do was crump. And boy,
that sounds pretty Gorka Morka.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having a strong.
Oh yeah, because Sigmar had Gorka Morka just go into like Guru, fuck, the land of beasts and just like kill all the dangerous beasts. That's what he was doing, right?
Yeah. And during one of those like escapades of his about killing a beast, actually, Khorne made a mockery and laughed in disguise, and that got like Gorka Morka heard that, and it just angered. Like it started the process. It was more like, ha, you used to be awesome. Now you were just a pleb, I guess.
Oh, so Khorne just called Gorka Morka a bitch, and he took exception to that.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, and then that just kind of simmered in Gorka Morka for a while, and he was at a meeting at the council, or Azir, like the Pantheon, and he just like, I'm not angry now, and just stomped on his way out, and just let a great wog across the cosmos.
Oh. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
all right then.
I would say that's a pretty direct 2-week notice letter.
Grungy, he really never left. All he never did was like be a really bad dad and only just focused on work. And when the Chaos Invasion of Akshi came,
yes,
he was like, my children, they will learn from this hardship and blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to focus on my work and let them fall.
You're telling me he was just like, I know helicopter papa, sink or swim bitch, and dipped?
Yes.
Dwarves, Dad, wait! Fucking the Chaos God said I'm just like, Gunky's like, nah, you'll be fine. I'm gonna go grab a pack of smoke. See you never.
Literally just like the fucking Sky Dwarves, the Overlords, just like, Father, we need you.
No, that was created after, but they were
you know what I mean.
But yeah, it's actually all the dwarves kind of hate him now because of this, because they hold, dwarves holding grudges.
What? No, doesn't happen.
It's not like they have a book called the Book of Grudges.
No.
Wait a minute, is that in the library? Can I go check out the Book of Grudges by the dwarves?
Nope, fake news, doesn't happen.
Whoa, they're not called dwarves. Durden, yes. Durden.
Which volume? There are many.
So he actually felt really bad about that because he's like, I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should focus a little less on work.
Well, didn't the dwarves get like absolutely fucking annihilated during the the Age of Chaos?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
pretty much. Yeah.
Didn't like one like I think only one faction lived, right? Two?
Well, no, they're still original dwarves, but I think those are dwarves that were living in Azir. But
Yeah, those
the
are
Fire Slayers.
cities of Sigmar dwarves.
Yeah. The Fire Slayers actually like blocked themselves off in their magma, whatever that's called, and then the other dwarves are like
The Caradons, right? Or
the Caradons are like, that sky looking pretty safe up there.
And I forget, why did the Caradon overlords go to the sky?
Actually, beforehand, before they were going to the sky, there was a sky mining operation because there's aether gold in the sky, and that's but aether gold is
makes sense.
Yeah, aether gold is the creation of when Grimnir is working on metalworks and when he's breathing on it. What comes off of that breath of like hitting that metal is aether gold, and that just floats in the sky.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, fuck it, yeah.
So they're like, oh, that's more profitable. And then demons came. They're like, that also looks safer.
Just like horrific abominations, murder fucking everything on the ground. The dwarfs, yeah, I think I'm a fly now.
I think we're just gonna stay up here.
And our next boy. F's in chat for Grimnir.
Rip.
A moment of silence, please.
He needs some milk! Yeah, F in chat for Grimnir, that boy.
Yeah.
That man.
Yeah.
That very angry stunty.
Just in case you're like me and you probably blanked out for that period of conversation that lasted 5 minutes, he got deaded by a god beast called
Volcatrix. He got hella deaded.
Then I just classify this as the elves. Elves. Tyrion, Teclis, Malarian. Because I don't think Marathi was in this period of time at the moment. I think Marathi actually popped out after the Burning Skies.
Alright.
Yeah.
She became active again after.
Yeah, that.
Well, because I know she was around during the Age of Myth because she helped chain up Slaanesh, but then she just went away and did her own shit for a while.
I think Slaanesh was actually truly chained up in the Age of Chaos. This is very confusing because I read this like, oh, look at this, Marathi shows up and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's after the Burning Sky, so I just got so confused. This is the reason why I was having like screaming and like I just wanted. It's why my soul depleted when I was reading this.
Okay, so let's say it's fair to say that like the initial locking up of Slaanesh happened in the Age of Myth, and then once Marathi had like pieced her mind back together, I guess.
No, in my mind, what I imagine is they found Slaanesh during the Age of Myth, but they couldn't bind her until Marathi came, because it was Marathi that had the knowledge of how Slaanesh was, because she was inside of Slaanesh, and they needed her also sorcerer powers, like the fact that she's a very powerful sorcerer or sorceress because she's female. They couldn't do that until then.
All right,
that is my headcanon. That's what I read, but this is something we're going to come back to.
Yeah, we'll look into it more. This contradictory shit happens all the fucking time.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Malarian.
Malekith.
Hashtag Malekith. That boy was just a straight up Chad and just went, my gift's good enough. I'm going to yeet.
You just yote?
And he just yote.
Like back into Olgu, like the realm
of
shadows?
No, he just wanted to go do his own stuff and try to find all the elves.
Ah.
Yeah, he gave his gift and he went, my job here done.
And what was his gift again to Sigmar?
It was like a fighting ring.
Oh, yeah. And then when the storm came... Okay, we'll get back to that. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Tyrion and Teclis, after teaching everybody all the things in the Azir, they were like, oh, yes, my studies. More in depth. Oh, look at that. I found the location of Slaanesh.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so they went to Malarian. They were like, hey, we should try to get this done. And then Malarian's like, I don't think we could do this. Then Marathi came. And my favorite, Nagash. Because what I read is completely different from yours, Jacob.
Yeah, no, me and him had a little pre-conversation before this happened. Like, from my perspective of what I was reading, is Nagash is a dick and just kind of dipped on Sigmar, and then from what Mitchell was reading was that the exact opposite. And Sigmar is a dick and dipped on Nagash. So I think it's fair to say that, like, Sigmar and Nagash are both dicks, and they both dipped on each other to a certain degree.
Because
so please, Mitchell, tell us more about Poppy Bone Daddy.
Oh yeah, the big Bone Dad himself.
The big Bone Daddy himself, literally. Oh gosh, he built all the cities. Pretty much the majority of all the cities with his undead army.
Like in Shaiish or like everywhere.
So it was literal civilizations that would migrate just came upon an empty city, and they're like, "Dope, that looks like a nice place to settle."
Oh, so he just walked around just building shit.
He built all the buildings and all the cities, and that's what allowed for the civilizations to pop up. His armies actually built a lot and did a lot for the 8 realms. Yeah.
And so that's not just in Shaiish, that's everywhere.
That was everywhere. But it's when the demon...
neat.
Yeah, it's when the demon's invasion came to Shaiish, he actually retracted a lot of his armies, and a lot of the buildings stopped. So, and he was so focused on that, and he was like, "Hey guys, I kind of need some help here. This is a really big invasion." And Sigmar was like, I don't know what's going on over there. And this literally, like, it drove a dagger between Nagash and Sigmar. And, like, it just grew bigger and bigger because this was lasting for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. And then it got to the point where it was the Battle of All Gates later on. This was the precursor for the Battle of the Burning Skies.
So this is still, like, the soft point of the Age of Chaos. Yes. This is before the actual, like, Age of Chaos began.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is before the Battle of Burning Skies, where Nagash was fighting Chaos at the Battle of All Points, and then Sigmar with his armies showed up. This was before all the Stormcast Eternals and whatnot. This is just like humans and all these tribes showing up.
Yeah, we would just like consider basically just like the cities of Sigmar were with him, basically.
Yeah.
Or whatever they were called back then.
Yeah, and they showed up, and Nagash just turned around and went, "Where you been? You time to die."
Oh.
And so he turned on Sigmar, and this drove Sigmar in such a rage that his warrior aspect apparently just tore across Shaiish and trying to find retribution against like this action, which it was never found. And it was this when Sigmar left to go find retribution, like to sit there and find revenge of this action, that the Battle of Allgate lost, and then Chaos is able to take over that.
So it's fair to say that from Nagash's perspective, Sigmar stabbed him in the back, and then Nagash, from Sigmar's perspective, stabbed him in the back, and then Sigmar just went fucking berserk and just ran across Shaiish, just murdering everything, trying to find Nagash.
I think so, yeah.
And that sounds counterproductive.
Yeah, and it also made them lose the battle of the Battle of All Points, which allowed for the next major battle, which was kind of the Battle of Burning Skies.
So, real quick, before we get to the Battle of Burning Skies, what are the All Points? So I know we have the Realm Gates, and that's kind of like how you get from plane to plane. So what are the All Gate? What are like the points? The All Gate, I believe it's called the All Gate. It was a fort. The way I read it, it was a fort made.
So no, what it is that it's called the All Point, and what it is it's basically a conjunction of all of the realm gates, across all of the 8 mortal realms. So there's basically on every mortal realm there is an All Gate, and this All Gate connects to this point. It really is more of almost like a 9th realm that exists outside of the other realms, and it connects all points, hence all point, of the realm gates to the other realms. And these all gates are basically just, from what I read, massive realm gates that allow for very large, very steady transitions between the realms.
Oh, so they're man-made realm gates.
No, but it was a fortified position.
Yeah, don't think of them as man-made realm gates. They're more like whereas normal realm gates we might think of like as a car driving from city to city. The all gates are more like buses or
trains.
So like capable. They're much more established a train would actually be a better comparison. Much more established. They can run a lot smoother. They can run a lot faster, and they can bring a lot more with them.
And these already existed. Like, okay,
they're just like the realm gates. They already existed before.
Okay, cool.
These are just. They're still technically realm gates. They're just prominent realm gates. But like I said, one exists on each realm, and they are. Just like how in 40K, when you're traveling through the warp, there are some established warp lanes that basically never change, and they're almost never affected by warp storms. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same thing for the all gates, is that these are very, very stable transitionary points, and they lead to an actual place.
Where all points
whereas you in a realm gate, you step into a realm gate on Shaiish, and you step out of a realm gate at Azir. If you step into an all gate, you actually transition into the all points.
So kind of like a hub, and you can pick
it's a
where you
hub.
want to
Yeah,
go.
exactly. There are man-made buildings inside of this all point, which becomes very prevalent later on because Archeon and Chaos at this battle that Mitchell's talking about capture the all points.
So I'm going to assume, Mitchell, that this is a bad thing.
Oh, it's hella
Extremely.
bad.
Basically, imagine
It's like the president.
massive. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So the next thing was definitely the Burning Skies, which this is a very, very big battle, which is the hard point of the Age of Chaos. So
this is like where the epoch starts. This is the hard realm of chaos.
I believe this is where the
Age of
exact
Chaos.
epoch starts. There are many events leading up to this, but there's very few events that there are very few recorded events because there's actually less known about the Age of Chaos itself than the actual Age of Myth.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
It's harder. Yeah, I was going to say it's harder to write records when
you're being stabbed.
Yeah, when everybody's being slaughtered.
Yeah. That's very fair.
So the battle really started with the Chaos invasion of every single realm except that of Azir because plot armor.
So why wasn't Azir affected?
I actually do know this one.
You don't know this one?
Yeah, it's because in the Age of Myth, Sigmar sealed off his Allgate in Azir.
See, I heard that. I thought that happened in the Age of Chaos. I thought
It actually happens right around this time.
Okay.
So, whether it's the Age of Myth or the Age of Chaos is a little up for debate. But basically, what it is the Battle of All Points happens. I think it's right around that time. And basically, Sigmar is like, "Oh, this is a much worse thing than I thought it was," and seals his gate, and that basically prevents Chaos from opening the gates, because the big thing about realm gates
he just locks it down, you cannot open it.
That's the big thing about realm gates is they have to be open from both sides. So you can't go out to a realm gate and just force it open. You have to have someone on the other side.
So did Sigmar abandon the last of the Pantheon of Order, or did he close the gate after the Order had broken? I know you were talking about during the soft point of the Realm of Chaos, what was happening and how the gods were breaking off the Pantheon of Order. Did Sigmar just yeet into his realm and close the gate and abandon the rest of people that were left, or did he do that basically after the Order had broken and he was like, I can't fucking stop this, I'm just gonna lock myself in to save my realm?
You know what? That's a good question.
Actually, he might have done it after the battle of the one we're about to get to, Burning Skies.
He could have actually done it when they lost all the all point. The actual all point itself.
Yeah.
Once again, people, this is a very brief description. There's some stuff that we might not be correct on, and we will be going back over this later today, and we will have every single bit of correct information. This is just a very brief discussion, so y'all have general knowledge.
Yeah. Let's see. During this actual really big chaos invasion, there are many battles happening on. So it's not just one battle. There's one major battle, but there's a lot of battles that lead up to.
They're just fighting everywhere constantly.
So everywhere where Sigmar is actually fighting, he wins every single one of those battles. But for about every single one that he wins, he loses. There are 12 more losses other places.
Because he can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah.
So is Sigmar winning just because plot armor?
No, Sigmar is literally that strong.
Okay.
Yes.
He's actually defeating. During this period of time before all this, he defeated all four the strongest. I'm not sure if it was strongest, but
air quotation.
Yeah, kind of the leaders of the greater demons. Not the chaos gods themselves, but of the greater.
Oh,
demons.
like their chosen greater demon.
Yes.
Like Scarbrand.
No, it's actually a lot of
Scarbrand's exiled, isn't he? He's the exiled one.
He's the exiled one, but Corrin still likes to pick him up and chunk him at battlefields on occasion.
All right.
I thought I wrote down their names, but I don't think I did.
Anyway, the point being, he can 1v1 a greater
Sigmar be Crump and Earth.
They're called the Tetrarchs of Tetrarchs of Ruin.
Yeah, the Tetrarchs. Yeah.
Yeah. He actually beats them, but then Archean was
I hate you.
Archean.
Archeon. Archeon the Ever-Chosen.
Senor Ever-Chosen.
He actually said...
Senor fucking plot armor himself.
Yeah. He sat there and convinced them all to work together because the friendship prevails, and do like one more major battle. And at this battle, it was Sigmar, Gorkamorka, I believe Teclis is in here. Yeah, Teclis. They were all fighting this battle, and for 7 times, Sigmar kind of like led the charge against Chaos, and those 7 times they actually kind of won that, like pushed them back a bit.
And this is the Battle of Burning Sky, or this is, so this is the Battle of Burning Sky. This is happening.
Yes, this is the Battle of Burning Sky that's happening. But on the 8th time, he sat there and actually killed or like banished or whatever the hell it's called with the greater demons of the Tetrarchs of Ruin again.
Oh, this is the battle where he loses his hammer.
Yes.
I know how that happens.
Yes. So like after
Archeon's a dick.
So after all this happens, like he like kills the Tetrarchs of Ruin again. Archean actually is charging him.
Bro, I love you. Archeon.
Archeon.
Because Arcan is an actual person.
I said Archean.
Okay, that's what it is.
I say Archean.
I'm sitting here like, wait a minute.
Archeon is charging him after this period of time, and Sigmar's like, damn, that guy got the Kingslayer's sword. That sword killed me, and I can't die at the moment. So he yeets Galmaraz at Archeon.
Trying to kill him, I'm assuming?
Trying to kill him, but it's actually an illusion by Archeon, and it just got yoded through the Chaos Realm and many other things.
Oh, that's fucking horrible.
Oh, yeah. Sigmar just went, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Wait, that's illegal?
Yeah, and it actually went through so many different realms. Like, this man just yeeted it. And it, like, left a path of destruction among, like, a lot of different realms. And I believe it ended up in the realm of metal.
Akshi. Or, yeah, I think.
No,
Akshi is fire. We will be having a video going over these lands. We clearly don't fucking know what they are.
Next up, join us next time.
Oh, no, is it Shimon? Or Kamon?
No, it was...
I think it is Kamon.
Or Shimon.
Hold up.
Shimon!
But, see, the funny thing is, I know where it eventually ends up.
Yes.
But it eventually ends up in the hands...
In about 15 minutes, we will learn. But
should I have 15 minutes to go look up this up on my computer?
Oh, god damn it. And just like that, we lost the host.
Anywho, you were saying.
He really does not have 15 minutes. So it's after that, it became a very losing battle.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like Sigmar lost his hammer. All of the gods, just in some way, shape, or form, were indisposed, trying to fight for their life. So there's just no more cooperation. There's just nothing.
So he tried his best, but after that period of time, he opened up, I believe, his all point and like allowed so many people into Azir as like an evacuation.
Oh, so is that how the city of Sigmar become a thing? Because he evacuates like elves and dwarves and stuff into his... Oh, so that's how we get the city of Sigmar that have like the mixing of the populations.
Yes.
Or the species.
So
that's cool.
It's a lot of that. And so that is the official start of the Age of Chaos. That's when Age of Sigmar, he kind of yeets himself into the Azir with a lot of other people. Right after that, he has to do a cleansing of Azir because also a lot of Chaos cultists come with him.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
I'm guessing he has to do that because if he has cultists in Azir, they can open up the all point from their side and let Chaos come in.
And I believe it was actually very shortly after that he started coming up with the idea. Because during this 500 periods of time, he starts stealing souls.
Oh, so this is when he's thinking of the Stormcast, right?
Yes, this is when he officially starts making the Stormcast. He's stealing the souls.
Oh, so he locks his home down and he just starts yoinking people. Yes. He's like, I have a big brain plan.
It did end up in Kamon.
Kamon?
Yeah.
Okay. And this starts to really piss off Nagash because, Nagash is like, I'm the god of death. Those are my souls. But it's after that period of time.
I'm assuming Nagash had bigger problems at the moment, so he couldn't really do anything about it.
It's the Age of Chaos. There's a lot of murder. I didn't really want to go through that entire thing, but some major things is Sky Dwarves beat Zinch, keep Sky safe.
So the Kharadron overlords, when they retreated to the sky, and their
Yeah.
little like sky forts and shit, they actually fought Zinch up there, and,
Yes.
or Zinch demons, and they won.
Yeah.
Oh, so there were like some victories after Sigmar where
Yeah.
everyone didn't just get fucking murdered.
Yeah, not many.
It's the small things that count.
Yeah, actually, the person who actually found the Internet Deepkin was actually in the Age of Chaos. It was a greater demon of Slanesh.
Nah.
I think it was Shiish.
What were the Skaven doing?
Wait, Shaiish?
Shiish.
That's
Shiish.
I think that's a named demonette character. Because there's the...
It said it was a demon, it said it was a keeper of secrets.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
So here's a question. What the fuck were the Skaven doing during all of this? Because I'm pretty sure that in Age of Sigmar, the Great Horn Rat is a new Chaos God.
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe the Skaven were doing Chaos. I believe Skaven are now aligned with Chaos, and the Great Horned Rat kind of just does whatever the other 4 Chaos Gods tells it to do.
So
he's kind of the bitch of the group.
Well, yeah. I could tell you this is the one thing I remember. They brought down a temple, a space temple.
This angers me greatly.
Yes, and they were fighting lizards.
This angers me greatly.
Yeah, that's really the only thing I remember reading about Skaven.
So they're not super prominent.
They're not the most active during this period of time, but they're still active.
Oh, I think they go whenever Nurgle takes over the realm of life.
Gyrin?
Yeah, I think the Skaven are there. Because I think the Skaven work with Nurgle a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I know Clan Pestilence is really big, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they help out with a lot of like Chaos invasions and do Skaven things.
All right.
I feel like they're a little more active in what is the Age of actual Sigmar, not the Age of Chaos.
So it's fair to say in Age of Chaos, they're just kind of going around with the demons doing Chaos shit and making plans for later things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Skaven doing sneaky Skaven.
No, we could be
things.
completely wrong, but we will hit that on another episode.
Cool. All right, so Battle of Burning Sky happens, loses the hammer, Sigmar locks himself in his realm, starts doing Stormcast shit, Nagash gets pissed. What next?
Murder.
What follows is basically
It's
500 years of murder.
500 years of straight murder.
That's hot.
There are some things that happen in that, but it's just at that point, I need to cover that in a completely different episode.
So it can just be said that after Sigmar fucks off, everything can be ended with, and then Chaos killed everyone,
not everyone,
or
but
at least the vast majority.
Chaos killed a lot of things, and they got very good at it.
Did we have any prominent warlords of Chaos rise during the
Artheon.
Chaos? He was already prominent.
actually, in the first, it's called the Red Century.
That sounds like Khorne.
Yes, it's the Red Century that Khorne actually becomes Ascendant.
Ascended as in like he is the strongest of the gods?
I believe so, because it was just a straight year of murder.
Straight century, you mean?
Yeah, straight century, just murder and bloodshed. He was like, He started just rubbing his nipples just a tad bit.
Can I get a blood for the blood god?
It's also, I believe it's also the Red Century where it's Akshi was just, you could see Akshi from a different realm and go,
that planet's on fire.
that's on fire. I don't want to be over there.
Oh, man.
That's horrible.
So, I think it's about time that I took over now. So basically, unless you have anything else to add?
Oh no, pretty much after this it is
500 years of
It's 500 years of bloodshed.
blood, guts, and
Sigmar's
rust.
not there. Some elves. There was an elven civil war. So,
Okay.
yeah.
right.
That's one of the bigger things.
So, as we touched on a little bit earlier, after Sigmar kind of locked down Azir from the rest of the 8 mortal realms, he and Grungi basically spent the vast majority of the next 500 years just hand-picking souls for Sigmar to then use in what would eventually become known as his Stormcast Eternals. So, literally, throughout the entire period of the Age of Chaos, Sigmar is just watching all of the people who die and is slowly becoming more and more and more enraged by what he sees. And they always talk about how in the lore, like, there was this tempest brewing, and it took so long for it to build up, but when it was finally unleashed, it was a tempest of truly godly proportions. And what this is in reference to is that Sigmar spent 500 years working with Grungi and his warsmiths to not only find the souls of those who would fight chaos until their death and beyond, but also working to give them the best armor and the best weapons they could offer, forged from pure Sigmarite, harvested from the core of the old world.
So was that where Grungi was off of abandoning his children, was working with Sigmar?
Yeah, the reason Grungi was just, like, gone for 500 years was because, remember back when you were talking about how Sigmar freed Grungi from the mountaintop?
Yes.
And Grungi said, I owe you a debt now? This was him repaying that debt.
Oh, so he was... So that's why he just abandoned his kids. He's like, I have to pay this debt back, and Sigmar is probably going to like help us fight Chaos back because these Stormcats are dummy thick.
Yep.
Which is funny because it's actually stated that Grungi actually repaid his debt 3 times beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, he made Space Marines in AOS, so yeah.
That's the really funny thing is that, like, from outside viewers, everybody was like, Grungi, you've paid your debt over, like, multiple times now. Grungi never felt that he had truly paid his debt.
Well, I know that when Sigmar freed Grungi and Grimnir from the top of that mountain, like, they were stuck. There was literally no way in hell they were going to get free, and they were either going to somehow die of old age, being immortal, or die of something else on that mountain. Like, there was no escaping. So I guess, like, to a certain extent, I can see why Grungi would be so gung-ho about paying that debt, because they were truly fucked.
Yeah.
And Sigmar freeing them is what led to the Dwarven population being able to become prosperous, is because their gods were there and helped them, become a thing. Yeah. So I can see why he would think that.
So, like I was saying earlier, though, he basically just spent 500 years. Sigmar spent 500 years working with Grungi and his best warsmiths to make armor, weapons, equipment.
Plot armor.
I mean, you're not wrong. But
they don't die.
Yeah, and forging these souls that he took to be his champions, his wrath made manifest. And so finally, after 500 years of chaos basically having their way with the 8 mortal realms, or, well, 7 of the 8 mortal realms, Sigmar, after an entire night of prayers and song and war hymns, Sigmar finally unleashes his tempest upon the world, and across the 8 mortal realms, lightning rains from the sky, from the celestial realm. And out of the lightning walks these golden-clad warriors, and for the first time, the forces of chaos knew fear.
Why do I feel like Rocky Like a Hurricane should have been playing in the background when this happened?
It's such a good story. I got goosebumps.
I know, right? Dude, I read that out of the core rulebook, the 3rd edition core rulebook, and I was like, okay, I gotta throw this in the podcast.
This makes me moist.
Yeah, just a little bit.
We just lost 3 followers doing it.
We just lost all three
followers.
We just lost all 3 of our followers.
Worth it.
But no, but yeah, so he cast them down, and it is just, for the first time in 500 years, Chaos not only has a true fight on their hands, they have a fight that they can lose.
So Khorne was wrecked.
Oh yeah, no, Khorne was on one hand absolutely furious, but on the other hand immensely pleased by this.
And I actually want to have a little subplot real quick on that. Is if I remember correctly, during the Age of Chaos, didn't Khorne start murdering his allies, his fellow demons, because the Khorne army, after they had crumped everything for so long, had no worthy adversaries left, and they just started aggressively murdering their friends?
Well, when your whole entire purpose to live is to murder, and you got nobody to murder, who are you going to murder?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Khorne was erect because they finally had a good fight on their hands.
Yeah. And so these warriors of Sigmar strolled onto the battlefield armed in pure Sigmarite, and it warded them, and their purity of their soul and their faith in Sigmar warded them against a lot of the effects of chaos as well.
Well, they were also like, what was it, thrice blessed or something like that?
Yeah, so every piece of armor and war gear that they wear into battle is thrice blessed. Which this is getting a bit more into the actual like Stormcast Eternal side of things, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But yes, every piece of war gear that they have is thrice blessed.
They got hella protection.
Yeah, and their purity of soul. If any of you listening know who Khaldor Drogo is,
40k, yeah.
From 40k. Yeah, we're talking like that kind of level of just sheer mental fortitude.
Uncorruptible, completely and totally steadfast in the face of chaos.
Exactly. And so he hurls them down onto the mortal realms, and this is the instigating incident of what becomes known as the Realm Gate Wars and the start of the Age of Sigmar. This one event completely starts a new epoch.
He ends the Age of Chaos. Sigmar shenanigans. He straight ends it.
So the hurling of the Stormcast Eternals into the mortal realms is what ends the Age of Chaos and starts the Age of Sigmar. So,
Sorry, we got to take a break. We're playing with Mitchell's cat's toe beans, and it's fantastic.
Oh my god.
Yes. Sorry, continue.
All right. So, and then just this event just immediately kicks off the Realm Gate Wars. So, the first major event, you know he's gonna bite your fingers if you put your finger in his mouth.
He bit my finger in the first place.
Anyway, so the first major event is the Battle of Brimstone Peninsula. So, like I said, all across the Mortal Realms, these Stormcast Eternals are being thrown down. Some of them die, and when a Stormcast Eternal dies, they don't just die. Their soul is actually reclaimed by Sigmar, and they are once again reforged into new Stormcast Eternals.
Oh, so
to me, it sounds like so far they're the main characters of the Age of Sigmar.
If this was an anime, they'd all have the spiky, colorful hair.
Exactly. And from there, basically, Sigmar is trying to establish footholds all across the 8 realms for his forces to then work from and recapture the 8 realms. So we start off primarily with the Battle of Brimstone Peninsula. So this is the first major fight against Chaos, and it's the Hammers of Sigmar against the what do you call it when the Gortide, the forces of Khorne.
So like the Blades of Khorne or just the Gortide?
The Gortide.
Oh, wasn't the Gortide the big one during the Red Century?
Yes.
Yeah, because they're led by what's his name?
Yeah,
Corgus Cole. Yeah, they're led by Corgus Cole, right?
Yeah. And so yes, this is in Akshi actually. And the funny thing about Cole.
Yeah.
The funny thing about Cole is the man who leads the Hammers of Sigmar, if I remember correctly, actually his tribe was exterminated by the Gortide.
Oh.
In the Red Century.
He was like, it's time for fucking vengeance.
Oh, yeah, no, he straight up came hurling back down from heaven and was like, it's time for round 2, motherfucker, let's go. And
Sigmar knew what the fuck he was doing with that one.
Oh, yeah. And so they kick off this massive battle, and it's all to reclaim the Realm Gates. Because at this point, the only way for Stormcast Eternals to exit the Celestial Realm, Azir, is to be yoked down by Sigmar himself.
Which probably isn't the most efficient way to travel.
It's really not. So they're actively trying to capture as many Realm Gates in this massive realm-wide blitzkrieg tactic.
So, and this is just so they can achieve full military mobilization of the Stormcast.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so they are actively fighting to reclaim the Realm Gate. I believe it's the Whispering Gate.
Yes.
Each one of the Realm Gates is named.
Okay.
And I believe it's the Battle for the Whispering Gate is where this is taking place. But so, and there's this epic duel between the leaders of the Hammers of Sigmar and Kerr, but we'll get into that whenever we start getting more into detail about the Age of Sigmar and the Stormcast Eternals and all that stuff.
You said Kerr, do you mean Cole?
Cole.
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
sorry.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so ultimately, though, it results in a Stormcast victory. Barely, but they win.
Well, I'm assuming that was a hell of a fight.
Yes, the leader of the Heralds of the Hammers of Sigmar, which is a storm host of Stormcast Eternals, which is akin to a chapter of Space Marines at 40k, is basically like, hey, Sigmar, my bud, look, I'm about to get fucked here. Like, can I get a little help? And Sigmar's like, I got you, fam. Lightning bolt.
Oh, he just like yeeted at Corvus Cole to help him out? Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. There was some serious lightning bolt yeetage.
Sounds like Sigmar on his Zeus shit.
Exactly. Anyway. And that's the big inciting incident of the Age of Sigmar. And the Stormcast Eternals immediately start fighting the forces of chaos on all fronts across all realms. And they are actively trying to push back chaos and capture realm gates and open the realms back up so that they can push out and capture as much land as they can and force as much chaos out as they can. So and this is like an ongoing war that goes on for years.
I mean, I'm assuming because we're still in the Age of Sigmar, it's basically still happening to a certain extent.
The Realm Gate Wars not so much. There's been a couple incidents since then, but this is not a short time period. I'm not sure on exact years. I actually read something somewhere during my research that said that Games Workshop intentionally stays away from providing exact dates.
Oh yeah,
I'm going to be honest. The fact that especially so in Sigmar. They will not reference a calendar. They will not reference a specific year. They'll make very general claims about this. This was like a couple generations ago, or this was like 500 years ago, things like that.
They do it for the writers, right?
Specifically so the writers can be like, oh, here's this really cool character that I really want to write about, and here's this really cool event that I think would be really cool for him to be in. But he was technically in this place at this time, and then he's over here at this other place at this time. And if they say, like, these are exactly 5 years apart, it's kind of hard to fit a massive scale.
It's pretty impressive that they sat there and actually proclaimed that the Age of Chaos is, like, 500
Yeah,
years.
like a hard 500. That's when y'all
say... It's not hard, it's, like, really close, like... 510 to 490.
Can I get a 500.1?
Yeah. So when Mitchell sat down and was talking about that, I was actually very surprised that he had a hard number for us. Anyway, regardless.
I guess it makes sense, though.
It really does.
Black Library goes really hard, so they probably want to keep things ambiguous so the writers can do what they want.
Yeah, especially now in Age of Sigmar, when they want to have all of that writing going on about major important characters. Anyway, back on topic, though. The next big event that we come to, though, is the Battle of Anvarok, which is a battle between the Stormcast Eternals and a Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch. And that's really the biggest thing you need to know here is that this Sorcerer Lord of Tzeentch, who I, for some reason, didn't write down his name, and I am totally blanking on the top of my head. I think he's just called the Exalted. Or something like that. Anyway, he has in his possession Gal Maraz.
He has the hammer.
Yeah, he has the hammer. He is in the realm of metal, and there is a storm host of Stormcast Eternals who I forget why they were there, but they didn't know he was actually there. They were there for some completely different reason, but this Sorcerer Lord saw them and was like, oh shit, they're coming for the hammer. And so he proactively went out and ambushed them, and the Stormcast Eternals were like, wait, what the fuck are you doing here? And so they fought him all the way back to the Exalted Tower, where they were holding his hammer. And just as they were all about to be slaughtered, the Lord Celestin, the leader of this group of Stormcast Eternals, breaks down a wall inside of the Exalted Tower, and there is sitting Gal Maraz, and he's like, wait a second, I know what that is.
Sits there.
And like right after he sees that, him and the rest of his host are annihilated. And so they are reforged by Sigmar, and Sigmar's like, hey, like, what the fuck happened?
And they fucking tattled on Tzeentch.
Yeah, and basically, and he's like, well, okay, so I saw this big glowing thing, and Sigmar's like, that's my mallet.
That's me
mallet.
But this ties into the fucking Celestin Prime, right?
Yes.
The very first Stormcast Eternal.
Mm-hmm. And
also hashtag Carl France.
Not only the first Stormcast Eternal, but also the first among Stormcast Eternals in terms of power and gifts from Sigmar.
Oh, so he is de facto
He
the
is
strongest.
He is Sigmar's will made manifest.
Okay.
So they discover the hammer, and then what follows is something called the Helden Hammer Crusade.
The Helden Hammer. Oh, I love that name. The
Where
Helden Hammer.
12 storm hosts of Stormcast Eternals
Lots of Sigmarines.
are assembled to find this hammer.
Real quick, do you know roughly about how big a storm host is?
Fucking huge.
Oh, so it's not like there's 1,000 Space Marine bullshit from 40k. These storm hosts are massive.
Yeah, each one is an army in and of itself.
Okay.
And yeah, to give you an idea, just a really quick side note, storm hosts are broken down into chambers. And there, as far as I'm aware, there can be more than one chamber of a kind in each storm host.
So there's a lot of fucking Sigmarines there.
Yeah, if you look on tabletop, I actually play Stormcast Eternals on tabletop in Age of Sigmar. If you look at the size of a chamber on tabletop, it's like it's anywhere from like 2,000 to 4,000 points.
So it's big.
It's large.
He's large.
He's large.
Also, hashtag lizards on tabletop.
Anyway, getting back on topic though. So these 12 storm hosts are assembled, which include the Hammers of Sigmar, the Celestial Vindicators, the Anvils of the Helden Hammer, and the Lions of Sigmar, just to name a few.
A fucking few.
Yeah, just to name 4 of the 12. Anyway, so they all just fucking go after this thing, and it is a massive campaign. It is truly a crusade to find this hammer, because now the Lord Sorcerer knows what's coming, and Tzeentch is like, oh, we can't let him get that hammer.
Something wicked this way comes.
Yeah, by the pricking of my thumb. Anyway, so they do eventually reclaim Galmaraz, though, and
I'm assuming this battle will
culminates.
be discussed in detail later, but I'm
Yes.
going to assume that it is fucking massive. Just
Yeah,
the one battle for
it's
the hammer.
12 storm hosts, which, keep in mind, it was like 2 storm hosts at the battle of the Brimstone Peninsula.
Where they fought against.
Where they
Lotus
fought
Gold.
against.
Oh Jesus Christ!
When
okay.
they fought against the Gore Tide and basically won, that was, I think, 2.
Jesus fuck. All right.
And they assembled 12.
He wanted his mallet back.
So yeah, after they reclaimed Galmaraz, though, it's at this point that Sigmar makes this really big decision for himself and for all of the Stormcast Eternals as well. So he decides basically to stop being a frontline unit. So the biggest reason why Sigmar kind of lost in the Age of Chaos was because he personally went and fought every battle he could. He wasn't guiding from the rear. He wasn't planning and strategizing. He was actively fighting on the front lines, and he makes the decision to give Galmaraz to his Celestial Prime.
Well, he needed to because the Prime wouldn't wake up, right?
Well, yes, but there is more implications behind it than just the Celestial Prime woke up. Sigmar makes the decision that he needs to guide, and he needs to strategize, and he needs to become a leader and a general, not just a warrior of renown.
Right.
And so Galmaraz, even though it is the symbol of his divine power, he gives it to his Celestial Prime because he says that, this is a weapon, and weapons are meant to be wielded. So he gives it to his Celestial Prime, and his Celestial Prime had been reforged but had not woken up yet. But upon receiving Galmaraz, wakes up, and he is now Sigmar's will made manifest. This is who Sigmar sends when a entire storm host would not be enough. Is one single figure. Oh, I don't know if y'all heard that. That was my hip popping.
I heard that.
Oh, that was gnarly.
Chaos Gods hear us talking shit. Here come the body pains.
Anyway, so after that, what follows is the War of Life. So in the War of Life, after the realm gates have started to come under control, and they're starting to, and the Stormcast are starting to control realm gates, they decide that it is time to rebuild the Pantheon of Order. So the Stormcast Eternals, at Sigmar's behest, go out and start looking for the old gods of Order. So Nagash, Alariel, all of them.
Tyrion, Teclis, yada yada yada.
Exactly. Yeah. So The first one they go to, the first big one that they go to, because they send representatives to a few different ones, they just don't hear anything back. But one that they actually go and seek out is Alariel in the realm of life. And Mitchell, your Hollow Knight boys, this is them.
Saving my thick lady girl.
Exactly.
Nurgle's just sitting there chilling, washing his pits in the pool of sacred tears, and then, suddenly,
a wild Hollow Knight appears. Anyway, so they're trying to reclaim the realm gates of the realm of Guron from Nurgle, while also contacting Alariel to start rebuilding the Pantheon. Large battle ensues. Nurgle and them fight. Nurgle kind of starts crumping. Nurgle then really starts crumping. Then Nurgle sends in his champion. The champion's name is, if I can find it,
Question.
Torglug.
Nurgle crumping or Nurgle getting crumped?
Nurgle crumping.
Oh.
Yeah, Nurgle's kind of kicking their shit in.
yeah, I think I remember this. Like, they go in to find Alariel, and then they do, and Nurgle's like, thanks for showing me the way, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, no,
and Nurgle
that's
just starts
exactly
fucking
what happens.
annihilating everything.
Yeah.
And the Stormcast are like, Father, I require aid. Brother, I am pinned here.
Yeah, so that's actually more or less exactly what happens, is that they meet with the Lady of Vines to wake up Alariel, and Alariel's like, fuck all you bitches, I'm a depressive bitch, and I ain't waking up for shit.
What is it called? Like, her season was winter, basically. She was just alone,
Yeah.
cold, and depressed.
Exactly. And they finally get there, and the Hollow Knights are taken to see Alariel by the Lady of Vines. And Alariel is like, oh, all of you can fuck off. And then Nurgle's like, thanks for showing me the way, buds. Shows up, and Alariel's like, fuck, this is not good. And like, I didn't read exactly what it was, but she basically turns herself into a seed to be planted and grow again. Gives herself to the Lady of Vines, and the Lady of Vines basically takes all the remaining Hallowed Knights and Sylvaneth and are like, we're gonna yeet now.
Who was the champion you said that was pursuing them?
Torglug.
Torglug.
One of the 7 greatest champions of Nurgle.
That's a name that sounds hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Torglug.
So
Glug, glug, glug,
they
Nurgle pits in the tub.
so they are now facing one of the hordes of Nurgle with Torglug at the head, and they are down to less than 100 men strong total.
Oh, so bad things are happening.
Bad things are happening. And remember how I said Sigmar likes to send in the Celestial Prime when not even a Storm Host would do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he eats the Celestial Prime down, and the Celestial Prime is like, be gone, thought, and just like one digs Torglug.
And once again, strongest Stormcast alive.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason this is important, because this is the dawn.
Yeah.
This is the dawn of the redeemed.
Ah, I love this.
So the Celestial Prime kills Torglug, and as he is dying and his soul is dispersing back into the Chaos realms, Sigmar looks down upon him and is like, wait a minute. That's a tiny, itty bitty little bit otter I see there. Yoink, that's mine.
So there's like 1% of his soul that's pure.
Mm-hmm, steals the last final pureness in his soul for himself and reforges him into a Stormcast Eternal.
So does that mean that Torglug was so strong that 1% of his soul makes a whole ass Sigmarine? Or is that just like Sigmar already had a whole ass Sigmarine and just put a little bit of his soul in there to like...
That means Torglug was that powerful, that potent, that even a small piece of his soul, it was still managing to be so pure that Sigmar was able to create a whole ass Stormcast Eternal out of it.
Nice.
Anyway.
I'm assuming this pissed off the Chaos Gods.
Oh, the Chaos Gods saw this and they were like, no, this is not acceptable. Under no conditions is this alright. But yeah, so that eventually happened. I'm not exactly sure what happened afterwards. I think they go to Azir, and Sigmar's kind of like, yeah, we'll shelter you for now, but I need to do a little more research on that. Anyway, the big thing that comes out is that they find Alariel, and they discover that even the champions of Chaos can potentially be redeemed, and that's actually the Brotherhood that follows after Torglug, which he gets renamed after he's...
I think he's called like Torglug the Redeemed, I thought.
Yeah, but his name changed. It's like Torlun.
Oh, okay.
Instead of Torglug, it's like Torlun, the Redeemed.
Take the glug out of it.
Yeah, kind of. But he actually ends up forming a brotherhood known as the Redeemed, and it's all just other souls that have been reclaimed from Chaos.
So are the Redeemed like stronger than normal Stormcast? Because
they're not
they're Chaos champions.
Stronger, but they are exceptionally potent of will.
If they're in a brotherhood, what Stormhost are they in?
I think they're separated. Either they're separated out and they just hold themselves together because of their shared background, or they're not part of the Stormhost. I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe
that's something I'll have to look into.
I'm assuming that this type of shit doesn't happen super often.
Yeah,
so they're probably a small like special forces almost type thing.
Not necessarily special forces, but I think they really are just more like a small brotherhood that kind of does their own thing at Sigmar's behest.
Okay.
So I think these are kind of like almost like Sigmar's chosen champions to a certain extent.
Right.
But I need to do a little more research on that. The other big thing that happens is that one of the Celestiant Lords of this group ends up... So the big reason they were trying to reclaim the Realm Gates in this realm was because they all led directly to Nurgle's Garden in the Realm of Chaos. And as a distraction, in order to try and make sure that they could win the day, one of the Lord Celestants wanders into the Garden of Nurgle.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he just walks in there. And then is like, come get me, bitches. And draws off one of the greater demons of Nurgle and just 1v1s them inside of Nurgle's garden and walks out alive.
Okay, like walks out alive because he won, or walks out alive because he ran?
Walks out alive because he won.
Jesus Christ, okay.
Oh, yeah. Homeboy went hard. I forget his name. Anyway, but after that, a couple more events happen. There's the Battle of Bloodkeep, which is where the Fire Slayers and the Stormcast fight side by side to try and take the Brass Chain. And the Brass Chain is the only chain that can hold back Skarbrand. So basically, they
Big Daddy
can bind him.
Big Daddy Rage Papa Greater Demon Skarbrand?
Yes, it's the only chain in existence that can bind him. They ultimately end up failing, but it forges a strong bond between the Stormcast and the Fire Slayers.
Which is good.
Yeah. Then there's the Third War of the Dead, which is where Archaon and Nagash have a dick fighting contest, because Archaon is like, oh, Nagash is getting stronger off of all the death and destruction. That's not good. Tries to fight Nagash, and Nagash aggressively crumps him.
Oh, Nagash ain't having none of this shit.
Yeah,
I'm assuming Nagash is also operating off of pure rage at that point as well.
Yeah, he comes out of the underworld, and Archaon's sitting there like, I'm trying to invade the underworld, and Nagash is like, no, this is not acceptable.
Nothing about this is something that's actually
it becomes the battle that they fight becomes renowned as the slaughter of the Starlight Gate or something like that, because Nagash just aggressively murders everyone. But in another part of Shyish, one of his Mortarks. Thank you. One of his Mortarks, Neferata, is being overtaken by the armies of Archaon, and the Stormcast actually show up there and actively help them to try and get back in Nagash's good graces. It doesn't work, but
fuck.
Yeah. Anyway, then there's a couple other events: the War for Klaxis, the retaking of the Manticore Realm Gates, the Battle at Mount Kronos, which is a big event because that's where Archaon binds a fallen Keeper of Secrets to him and becomes basically his personal oracle. So Archaon gains the foresight of a Keeper of Secrets. Or, sorry, not a Keeper of Secrets, the Lord of Change.
Damn.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Archaon of the plot armor.
And the reason this is big is because after that, Dracotheon opens up what's known as the Extremis Chamber. And this is a new chamber available to Stormcast Eternals where they will bind the children of Dracotheon. And that's where you see the Stormcast Eternals writing Star Dragons and things like that, is because of this event. Dracotheon personally stepped in and was like, my children will now help
What's the difference between the dragons and the Draconith that we just saw released like 2 days ago?
No, those are dragons.
Star Drakes. They are Drakes.
Oh, they're not dragons, they're Drakes. Because they said like those like the last two dragons alive. So I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. So they're writing Drakes.
Yeah,
lesser dragons essentially.
Yeah,
cool.
You're right.
Gotcha.
You're right.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Dragons for all intents and purposes, but Draconith.
Yeah. So the big thing about that is that Dracotheon has a bunch of different children, and they're all kind of generally referred to as like Dracoliths.
But the Draconith are like the strongest and most powerful.
The Star Drakes are actually the most powerful. Only a few ride them.
Okay.
The biggest reason is because the children of Dracotheon are sentient in and of themselves, and so to a certain extent they choose their rider.
Okay.
You have to prove yourself worthy of it.
Okay.
Then there's the God Beast's Enslavement by Archaon. I think that's right. Wars of the Flame Worlds. And eventually, the Realm Gate Wars culminates in the fight for the 8 points. So after the all points were taken,
they got renamed the 8 points, right? Oh
Chaos
yeah,
renamed
8-pointed scar. Haha, yeah.
Yeah, 8 realms, 8-pointed star. Well, no, you did.
You didn't say it was called the 8 points, but you talked about all the all points being lost to chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, when that happened, they got renamed to 8 points, and this was like the culmination of the Realm Gate Wars because they needed to take this back to establish like a foothold.
They needed to either take it back or shut it down.
Yeah,
and so what they ultimately did is they kind of shut it down by sealing the gates, the all gates that led to Akshi and Gurren. So the Realm of Life and the Realm of Fire, they sealed them off from the 8 points, from the all points. So Chaos can now no longer evade through that.
But they can invade the other one, so isn't that still considered like a or are those two realms just the more important ones?
One thing that you have to remember is that the Realm Gates, Stormcast Eternals, are actively fighting to control them.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. That's why sealing these all gates was really important. But they ended up sealing them. So now three of the 8 gates have now been sealed by Stormcast Eternals. And so now it's preventing Chaos from, like, basically having unending hordes sweeping into these realms. Then came the Time of Tribulations. So the Time of Tribulations is a series of events that basically leads up to, Big Papi Bone Daddy trying to do Big Papi Bone Daddy things and blow up the world.
Necroquakes.
Yes. So Nagash, since the Age of Myth, has been trying to enhance his power and wipe out all life in the 8 realms.
As such, Nagash does do.
Mm-hmm. So the Time of Tribulations is Nagash finally completing all of his plans leading up to this. And he activates a ritual that's going to allow him to suck up a truly massive amount of death magic and then basically wipe out all life across the 8 realms. Unfortunately, the Skaven took issue with that.
The rat men rear their ugly heads.
Yeah, so the Skaven fucked it up as usual, and basically what it was is they snuck in. So there was this black pyramid being built by Nagash.
That was like the focal point, right?
Yeah, Nagash activates the ritual, and the Skaven sneak inside and basically look at these crystals that the magic is being channeled through, and they're like, "Ooh, that looks pretty. We're gonna take that." And just their mere presence, being corrupted creatures of chaos, fucks up the ritual. And the ritual goes horrendously wrong. And instead of centralizing all the death magic in the realm on Nagash, it focuses it into a point inside of the pyramid and creates just a vortex of death magic.
That sounds lovely.
Nagash is standing in the middle of it like, yes, unlimited power. Oh, wait a second.
Maybe too unlimited?
Yeah, no, he literally sucks up as much as he can and then has to yeet for fear of basically blowing himself up.
Like permadeath? Because Nagash has died before and come back.
They imply that this one would have been pretty serious.
Oof. Alrighty then.
So he yeets, and then the entire thing explodes. And the shock waves from this explosion echo across all of the 8 realms. And it raises trillions from the dead. And it is just a unending war. It is a tide of death coming for people. And this event is known as the Necroquake. So the Necroquake ends up leading to the Shaiish Nadir, which is that vortex I spoke of.
Well, the Necroquake is also the birth of the Night Haunt as well.
And also, didn't the Necroquake also really fuck up the Winds of Magic? Where like now using any spell, it is now amplified to truly uncontrollable proportions. Anyone who uses magic, it just goes wildly out of control.
A little bit. I'm getting to that in a second. They actually make reference to that.
All right.
But yes, having because of the Necroquake, the very nature of magic across the 8 realms changes.
That sounds serious.
Mm-hmm. So this is known as the Arcanum Optimar. So in the Arcanum Optimar, magic is drastically easier to use. Charlatans, people who could like just barely make tiny little effects happen, suddenly they can cast magic. Not high magic, but suddenly they can like truly cast magic and things like that. It becomes much easier to use. Wizards of the realms that they are inhabiting can suddenly instinctively use magic of the realm.
Oh.
Yeah. And then because of the just truly massive amounts of magic that is out in the mortal realms now, you see the awakening of these things called endless spells, which are spells that almost operate as if they have a mind of their own. and they just roam across the mortal realms. Yeah.
So that'd be like I cast Firestorm and it just goes forever and ever and ever and ever?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a guy who cast a fire spell trying to destroy a castle. He cast it, and the spell took a mind of its own and actually turned on him and destroyed him. And now it is just wandering across the mortal realms.
No, that sounds horrible.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. Actually, one of the major magic associations in the mortal realms, it's a human one, actually has, like, bounty hunters that go out and actively hunt down these mortal spells, or these endless spells, to try and capture them and study them.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is pretty cool.
That's pretty fucking cool. I just remember Steve Irwin, but with, like, a Harry Potter one.
I mean, you're not wrong. Anyway, so yeah, this is so not only is this a very dangerous time for wizards because potentially their new spells could go haywire and like just go out of control, it's also a time of great study and knowledge gathering. So there's a couple different schools that are actively hunting down endless spells just to study them. And then the big thing that follows because of that is the Soul Wars. And this is going to be the wrapping up of our timeline right now. But the Soul Wars is when Nagash reemerges after the Necroquake and basically decides that he has pumped himself so full of death magic that nobody can stop him.
Drugs.
And yes, so because of the Necroquake, you saw the rise of the Night Haunts. So Nagash now leads his legions of Night Haunts in war against the living.
Oh, so he is also kind of like an enemy now. There's no like tentative truce or a pact to ignore each other. He is actively waging war on everything alive.
Yeah, no, he now actively believes that he is basically strong enough to tell Sigmar and all of Sigmar's allies that they can all go fuck themselves.
I feel like this is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, a little bit. So, it comes from that stem of Nagash believes that he is owed all souls of the dead. So he actively hates the Deep Kin, Sigmar.
Oh man, I bet Sigmar making the Stormcast was like hella pissed him off.
Oh no, it hella pisses him off. It pisses him off to the point that actually whenever a Stormcast Eternal dies and their soul is taken back to Azir to be reforged, he steals as much of their souls as they can. So the Stormcast are actively in almost like an arms race against Nagash to figure out how to prevent their souls from being stolen, because every time they are reforged, they lose a piece of their soul to Nagash.
And because they start becoming like have less human emotion, less personality, and more like vicious, and very much like, oh yes, you are doing bad things by stealing bread. Time to stab you in the throat with my spear.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gotten that bad yet, but yes, that is the
implication. It's exaggeration, but yes. That's kind of like that is the implication, which is bad.
So another big event that happened because of the Necroquake is that old sealed artifacts and relics were suddenly infused with magic again. And so you saw this awakening of old ancient relics, including certain sealed tombs.
Oh, fuck.
Kept in storm vaults.
Oh, fuck.
Storm vaults are where Sigmar keeps the relics that he deems too dangerous to keep lying around, but he can't destroy.
Oh, triple fuck.
Yeah. One of these things is the tomb of Orpheon Catacross. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
I think Mitchell does.
Who is it?
It's a pretty cool model.
He's the leader of the Osiark Bone Reapers.
Oh, shit. I know who that is.
So Nagash gets a ping. So this Necroquake wakes up his tomb, and he's like, oh shit, what's that? And then Nagash is like, oh shit, is that my boy? Runs over there and lays siege in what's called the Siege of Sorrow to the city. I'm going to forget which city it is now. And eventually breaks open the tomb and steals Catacross from the tomb. And reinstates him as the leader of the Osiark Bone Reapers. And this guy just starts reaping across Shaiish.
Yes.
He is Nagash's greatest enforcer and most powerful general.
The reason why he actually became a Mortarch is because when he was fighting battles against Nagash, because he actually was against Nagash when he was personally living, he was such an amazing strategizer that he constantly fought back Nagash. And it wasn't until he died that Nagash was actually started able to win.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
We really didn't need Nagash having him.
So, do you remember how we were talking about the battle for 8 points and how the Stormcast Eternals had to fight long and hard in order to reclaim 2 of the gates? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Catacross does that with his Bone Reapers. He basically is given command of a legion of Nighthaunts, and he's like, "Hey, Nighthaunts, go into 8 points, see what's there."
I would like there's a distinction between Nighthaunts and Bone Reapers. Bone Reapers are the creations of Nagash that he believes are the perfect beings.
Mm-hmm. But he does have command over both.
Now, the Mortarks are basically vampires, yeah.
Kind of. No.
What are the vampires?
There are 3 Mortarks.
Uh-huh.
There's Neferata. She's the first vampire. She's a Mortark.
Manfred, right?
Oh, four Mortarks.
Ah!
Yeah, Manfred's a Mortark.
Then there's Manfred. There's Arcan. And then there's Corios? Is his name?
Orpheon Catacross.
Catacross.
So what faction is the vampires then? Or the vampires?
Death. Everything that is in the Order of Death serves Nagash.
Yes.
Including the vampires and the Flesh Eater courts.
Oh, so Flesh Eater courts is where...
Those are the ghouls.
Those are the more... Okay, gotcha.
Those are the ghouls, which I was reading up a little bit on them. Apparently they all, basically what's happening is that, the king of each one of the courts is basically just having a massive hallucination that he thinks that he is, in fact, the king of a court, and that the food that he's eating is, the most delicious feast that has ever been presented before him. But, yeah, he's just massively hallucinating the entire time. Yeah, it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it's a big reason why a lot of people believe that the Flesh Eater courts are actually the Bretonnians.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah. So yeah, he sends in his legion, led by Lady
Olenor? No, Lady Olenor?
Yeah, the model, the big one.
Lady Asaros, yes.
Yes. He actually sends her in. It's her legion. Sends her in ahead. They get as far as they can, and they're like, hey, Catacross, you want to come help us out? And he's like, okay, cool. And just sweeps in and almost takes the Chaos Stronghold in the 8 points.
Oh, shit.
It is... Archeon has to come back and personally fight them in order to prevent them from taking 8 points. That's how strong this guy is.
He's almost stronger than Plot Armor, guys.
Yeah.
Damn.
But that's the most recent lore I could find. So the Soul Wars, I believe... Well, okay. The Soul Wars were ongoing. Now that they've released 3rd edition Age of Sigmar and Dominion, I think there's new lore out now that's going to say that either that the Soul Wars have ended or there's some new big event going on. But this is the most recent lore I could find. So that's where things stand right now.
I believe there's Broken Realms as well, but we need to actually get all those books and actually read
through them and whatnot to get the accurate
information. Broken Realms is still recent enough that it's hard to find that information online.
Yeah. So kind of sounds like this is the wrap up. This is then the very this is a fucking 2-hour episode.
Oh my!
This is a 2-hour episode, but this is the bare bones of what happened in all the ages.
I mean, realistically, 2 hours is.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I think we're gonna be the majority of our episodes. We're gonna try to be anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours, just so we can make sure there's a lot of information coming through. We're not just doing small baby episodes. 'Cause we have lots to talk about. But
do we now?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I think.
Hopefully.
Okay. Anywho, so this is the wrap up, I believe, of our Ages episode.
And I believe the next one is going to be the
Mortal Realms.
No, Mortal Realms. I said that in the middle of the episode.
Yep.
Yeah, I did say that. But yeah, no.
Yeah, so the next episode might end up being a little shorter, just because we're going to be talking about the Mortal Realms and just
watch it be 30 minutes.
Oh,
watch it be 3.5 hours.
I'm betting it's going to be a solid hour because we can afford to throw in a little bit more about each realm in there, about the inhabitants and
or maybe
what
the names of the realm gates that are in those.
Yeah, that's probably a fair one
and maybe what factions inhabit said realms and whatnot. But yeah, we're gonna actually hopefully say the names properly.
Don't count on it.
Just have a little history and a little description of what the realm is.
Yeah. But don't, if you have any comments or questions that you had, don't be afraid to send us a message on Facebook. It's Lorecast at Lorecast Eternals, underscore.
Yeah. Or hit us up on Twitter or shoot us an email. We got multiple ways.
We're pretty cool, pretty chill dudes. If you have a question, we'll get back to you as fast as we can, and try to answer it to the best of our ability.
Find us on Podbean because apparently that we get a free website out of that.
Oh my God, do we?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Oh, that's news to me.
All right,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
You just Google up Lorecast Eternals, and it's like the podcast and the Podbean thing, and right there.
Nice.
All right, cool. Well, thank everyone. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you very
I
much.
swear, much through this
can't
episode,
English.
I sat there and I had brought in the most southern drawl I could.
I tell you what now.
I tell you what, we're
Thank y'all for joining us today. I hope this episode has been informative. If we got anything incorrect, we will be addressing it at a later date. Like I said, we're just a bunch of dudes learning the lore with you, trying to have a good time. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. I had a brief microphone meltdown. Anywho,
hey!
Thank y'all for joining us today. Hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day whenever y'all read this. Keep doing what y'all are doing.
Read this.
Whatever. I'm stupid. Listen to this with your ear orbs, drums on your face. And this is Jacob signing off.
Thanks a bunch of guys for joining us. We're doing it not just for us, but also for y'all as well. So please, if you enjoy it,
mainly
feel
for
free.
us.
Oh, okay,
yeah. You guys.
You're mainly doing it for us. Yeah, that's fair.
It's us trying to get more lore, and which is the best way to get about it.
That's right.
I love all of you.
But no, thanks to you guys a bunch for tuning in and listening to us yammer
all
on.
Three of you, one from Colorado.
One from Denmark,
whoop, whoop, and one from Australia.
I told you it was Australia.
Oh, I thought it was Austria. Okay. Well, I was horribly wrong. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all in 2 weeks.
Peace out.
Birdman out.